On Monday, the Ministry of Education officially announced how the education subsidies will be rolled out across the country, a development that has sparked important conversations within the education sector and across the country as well. Now, the subsidies are expected to play a significant role in easing financial pressures on different tertiary education institutions, supporting students from vulnerable communities and strengthening the quality of education delivery across the country. Benhard Kavau, the board chairperson of the Students Union of Namibia, as well as Natangwe Shikesho, the president of the Students Union of Namibia, both join us this morning in studio to unpack more on this announcement and to share their perspective on the implications for institutions and students, as well as just to reflect on what this really means for the education fraternity moving forward. Good morning, gentlemen, and thank you for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Namibia. Thank you for having us.
Let's start with you, Mr. Kavau. What was the initial reaction from the SUN after the rollout, the subsidy rollout was announced on Monday?
Well, overwhelmed, flabbergasted, all the best words that can describe a person who's excited. Mm-hmm. The rank of the Student Union of Namibia, our members and our parents are very happy, but particularly the youth, because they felt their voices has been heard, their inputs has been incorporated in terms of what their aspiration, their wishes has been by the President of the Republic of Namibia. Mm.
Now, moving to you, Mr. Shikesho, as the president of the Students Union of Namibia, how do you think the subsidy amounts announced do you think they'll adequately address the financial pressures that students currently face across the country?
Well, thank you very much. We might not get everything that we want, but at least what we are getting now is more efficient. I mean, it's more enough, I could say, because you see how access to education has been a problem in our country and in Africa as large. But it's a historical move that is happening, and as we go, we will be able to move and adjust ourselves as we go forward. But what I can say is that we are getting enough. That's why we are very happy to see every child have an access to go to school, be a child of Kachinakache, a child of Kurenkuru, a child of Karasbe, who are able to have access without being blocked by a registration fee, by tuition fee. And you see again that there are some universities which are very expensive. So that subsidy education will then assist the student or the parent to always minus some money from what parents pay, and that's what we want. And you see, an educated nation will be able to initiate proper programs. And when we do that, our GDP go high. When our GDP is high, our life expectancy go high. So I think as a country, we are facing a good promised land, I could say, and we are very happy to hear that subsidized education.
Now, Mr. Kavau, Mr. Shikesho touched a little bit on how this subsidy rollout is set to affect students from all across the country, mentioning places such as Nkurunkuru, the places in the Karas region, and so on. Now, rural and underserved schools and in tertiary institutions, they often feel policy changes most sharply. How do you expect this subsidy rollout to impact the different tertiary institutions operating in various regions?
Well, the impact is positive. However, we could say that the time it was announced, most of the institutions, some were already on holiday. Probably the preparation will be a problem. And also some students have already applied for different courses. And probably if they could have known, they could apply for different courses prior to announcement. There's also the concept of priority field of study. Students are still asking us which priority field of study do we choose now? Is it based on the current status of NSFAF or the priority field of study that will be introduced? But the good news is when it was announced by Honorable Dr. Steenkamp, she said we'll benchmark with the current priority field of study by NSFAF. They can look at the website. The priority field of study are well articulated. They are there online. But nevertheless, we believe as much as the institution have closed, the calendar we have seen is out, the operation will continue. What we can say is that it's our wish that Namibian child, they must pass. The parents, they must enjoy the festival season. What they need to do, as long as your child have passed, admitted to institution of their choice, all they have to do is just go register, no paying of tuition fee, access to education goal of one of the 4 goals of education is achieved. So that is the way to go.
Now, piggybacking off of the point of the calendar already being in place for next year, the ministry has outlined a timeline and mechanisms for the distribution. Mr. Shikesho, does the Student Union of Namibia have any concerns about how these funds will be implemented or accessed by the different tertiary institutions?
You know, it's a new initiative, and the new initiative comes with adjustment every time. The higher planning, I mean, it was just announced now, so and it's holiday, people start preparing. But our wish is that there must be a fasten of things, and the minister said all these things will be run under NSF. NSF have been efficient since then, so I don't think if we are expecting much of work, because those people, they already know the work. All they need to do is just to receive the registered students and then pay them. But and our wish is that they do that early, so that it then doesn't compromise the quality of the education, doesn't compromise the activity of the school, because otherwise you'll be hearing, no, school ABC was not paid, now they are retrenching some few lecturers, school ABC was not paid, now toilets are closed because there's no water. We don't want that, but our wish is to make sure the schools send or submit what is needed from them, and the government do what is needed from them. And we do not want to see a school giving learners a letter to say, no, you need to pay this voluntarily, so that we can pay what. We don't want that. The president said this must be free. People must just go to school for free. Just take your bag and your laptop to go and study. Don't go and pay other things, to being forced to pay other things. And we are going to deal with anyone who is going to force people to pay rapidly. We are not going to play with them. Yeah.
Or could we dive a little bit more into that? What do you mean by that statement?
Which statement?
You mentioned that you're going to deal with institutions that charge students for fees that aren't listed.
Yes, you know, when maybe the institution is struggling to get money and pay for their lecturer because maybe the government is taking long, then they will say no. They will write letters to parents to say you need to pay this amount for water, to pay lecturer and all these things. We don't want that. The ministry or the government is going to take care of everything, so be it. Everyone must just, they must just follow what is in the contract they are signing or what is in the agreement they are signing, and everyone must honor and do their part on time.
But what was also made clear in the minister's statement is that the subsidizing as fees is only for first-time graduates. How do you think that this will then affect the number of students that are looking to benefit from the 100% subsidizing of free tertiary education?
Yes, look, we have greedy Namibians who want everything to be about them. Some, they have 3-4 qualifications, but they still want to benefit here. I think it's time for Namibians for us to be caring and stand in for each other to say, look, we understand where the state of our country is, so we must allow the new students or those who don't have qualification to go to school, get qualification. And later, as the minister said, next year, as from next year, they review and make now a funding for postgraduate. So I think it's best to give time for those ones who don't have anything now, and then later we can then consider everyone as per the priority field.
Let's talk a little bit about the non-tuition fees. Perhaps, Mr. Kavau, you could help us unpack how the subsidy structures or restructuring, rather, will ease the financial burden on students, as we know that some students may struggle with households may struggle with the contributions to non-tuition fees. So how do you think this structuring of the subsidies is going to affect or ease the burden on some of these households affected by these burdens?
Yes, earlier when free education or subsidized education was announced, it was a general statement where parents will meet the government halfway. But again, the youth are flabbergasted, particularly when the Honorable Minister said we will consider non-tuition fee for the pro-needy students. What that basically means is that all the parents whose combined annual income below 100,000 or so their children can apply for non-tuition and an amount of 17,000. And we believe this amount of 17,000 for the students that are pro-needy to really help them, because we know a child of a cleaner, a child of a farm worker, someone who works in the house, their children have the right to go to education. So them just have access to education in terms of tuition, it's not enough. So the non-tuition component will help them to pay for their accommodation, be it in the university, be it the rental, also to help them to have kept money, and also for them to elevate themselves. So the concept of equity in terms of fairness, so that they are at pay and equal to the next people who are from a better family. So a non-tuition fee component, it's a good one. Though a little bit in terms of parental income, the 100,000, that is something that we can debate in the future. It looks a little bit lower because parents have other responsibility. They have a lot of children. They take care of orphans and vulnerable. But that can be a debate for the other day. But however, at least the Namibian students, those who are for pro-needy, after scrutiny had been taken care of, that there will be a component of non-tuition fee. The question is, when will it be paid? Maybe that's where we need to ask ourselves. The earlier, the better. That has always been the advocacy of the Students Union of Namibia. And we feel it's the same aspiration of the government of the Republic of Namibia.
Speaking of the Student Union of Namibia, what role do you see the union playing in implementing this new subsidy?
We have started already as a union. Firstly, it's advocacy. We need to explain to the public what does subsidized education means. We have, as a student union, we are people from Namibia. We are no longer just communicating in English. Those who can speak Rukwangari, they're explaining to the people in Rukwangari, Damara, Afrikaans, Oshuwambo, and many, many other languages. That is our role as a union, because a union of young people, the association of them, are able to tell their grandparents what subsidized education means. So advocacy is the first priority. And secondly, it's about efficiency. So as a union, it's our responsibility to ensure that both the institutions are doing the right things, the government, those who are employed to do the right things. In terms of payment, it's NSFAF, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finance. In terms of quality education, as a union, we must ensure that and advise the student that you don't just go and register to institution just because they subsidy education. You have to ensure that it's accredited by the qualification accredited by NQA. Is it registered by NCHE? And also to ensure that we'll be visiting tertiary institutions to ensure that we'll be knocking in the lecture rooms. Are these people being taught by a qualified lecturer? We'll do all those research and so, because we need to ensure that there's quality education, not just because education is free or subsidized, then people can take advantage of it.
That's a very, very important point. But before I let you go, this is a question that I'd like to direct to both of you gentlemen. What message would you like to leave and share with not only the heads of these institutions, but also the students that attend there in light of the point of advocacy and education that you just mentioned? Let's start with you, Mr. Kavau.
The advocacy is to say, I think it's a great time to be alive as a youth of this country. You know, some other country, the president don't listen to the youth. The policy decisions that have been made, it's very rare that young people's voices are being heard. I think we, the young people, must own this policy-driven, this subsidized education. We need to own it. So in terms of the non-tuition fee, where we are saying it's a loan, so we must create a responsible nation. When it's a loan, we must pay back so that it can be a revolving fund, so it can fund more people. That's what we must advocate for. And also, we must not look at education as a business-driven model. Whoever is offering the service of education, we must introspect ourselves to ask, are we doing this for the business purpose, or we are elevating the Namibian children, because at the center of this is a Namibian child who's receiving education, not to make business. We have heard, Shikesho already spoke about some institutions that just have prices that's skyrocketing that you cannot even imagine. So we need to come back to the ground and think about it. But the good thing is the subsidized education. There will be a price ceiling and a price floor. So those scrutiny will help us to ensure that money are just not being spent, are not being sent, and education cannot be seen as a business model for the people. So I would say thank you, Madam President. Thank you, the Minister of Education, the task force, and everyone who got involved. And also to thank Shikesho for his team for advocacy, because without the Students Union of Namibia and any other student organization, we don't think this subsidized education could become a reality. Thank you.
How about you, Mr. Shikesho?
Thank you very much. Look, we have to thank those who came before us, the former student leader. They started this course, and now this course of free education or fees must fall is coming to an end. I mean, to the beginning, like we are beginning to taste the food of them. But all we are saying is that every Namibian must play their role. We wish every young people, all the young people, to go and look for tertiary of higher education and register, because our dream is to have every Namibian educated. And we are saying we should not be greedy, be it higher institution. They should not come. I know some, they will come and register ghost students, and we are going to deal with all these things. Ourselves, as a student organization, we are going to support the government, the president and the dream of the president of Namibia to have an educated nation. But as an educated nation, we know we have all those criminals and crooks, and we have all those things that happening. We are going to deal with all of those things. All we are saying is that, again, we are calling upon the parents to come and play their part, play their role, so that we can achieve this very goal. Yeah, and we thank the President of the Republic of Namibia for this brilliant idea. We thought it would not come like this, but hey, it's coming now. May God bless her and give her wisdom. May the wisdom of President Pohamba guide her as she continues leading this country. Yeah. Thank you very much.
No, thank you, gentlemen, for your time this morning, and I wish you Godspeed in rolling out the implementation of this new subsidy.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having us.